Today I want to teach you that another way to study how dystopian stories connect to the real world is to look for connections to social issues and current events. These connections can sometimes reveal what the story is really about. Yesterday, we looked together at the story Ponies and noticed some things that felt familiar to things in our lives, like the way the party worked. You may have also noticed similar things in your series, ways that your books reminded you of your friendships or social media. But you might also be thinking about things that are bigger than that. You may have noticed things in the news that reminded you of your books, or started to notice social issues that were coming up in your series, like racism or bullying. I mentioned yesterday that I want to be sure we explore not only how, but also why people read dystopian novels. It's important to understand that many times readers find these stories help them think not just about their own towns or their own homes, but also about the larger world in which we live. Sometimes dystopian novels will help readers think differently about things that are happening in politics, on the news, or about social issues that are important in the world. I want you to pause the video for about 45 seconds and make a list of the social issues that you know are important. Write these in your reading notebook. Go ahead. These are some of the social issues that you may have thought about: racism, sexism, bullying, or division between groups. Now, I want you to do the same thing around current events, things happening in the world. Pause the video and take some notes in your reading notebook. Make a list of things happening in the world right now. I want you to keep your list handy of your social issues and current issues, and keep them in mind while we think again about ponies. I'm going to reread a scene, this time keeping these social issues and current events in mind. And let's see if there's anything in the story that connects to all that we're thinking about. Let me think back to a really key scene. What about the part where Barbara finds out that Sunny has to lose her voice too? That scene feels important. I want you to think. See if you're noticing the same or different things. Let's reread Looking for Connections. Star Blossom touches the knife with her nose, pushes it toward Barbara with one lilac hoof. You're not done yet, Top Girl says. Now the voice. You have to take away her voice. But I already cut off her wings and her horn. Barbara throws her arms around Sunny's neck. Two of the three, you said. That's the cutting out. Yeah, Top Girl says. That's what you do to be one of us. But the ponies pick their own friends, and that costs too. Star Blossom tosses her violent mane. For the first time, Barbara sees that there is a scar shaped like a smile on her throat. All the ponies have one. I can't, Barbara tells the other girls, Top Girl, Star Blossom, Sunny. But even as she cries until her face is caked with snot and tears, she knows she's going to. When she's done, she picks up the knife and pulls herself upright. Wow. Now that I'm rereading with this lens in mind, I'm seeing more, aren't you? Let's look back at the chart of prompts from yesterday and use them to help us think more about this scene. What are you thinking? I'm thinking about an article I read last week in the paper. There was a meeting at City Hall, and a whole crowd of people came to protest a new law that was being made. But no one from the crowd of protesters was allowed to speak. This makes me think about how in the story, Ponies, they cut out Sunny's voice, like they had cut out the voices of all the ponies. Then there is this part where Barbara gives in and agrees she will cut out Sunny's voice. That makes me think of how one group always seems to have more power over another. It also makes me think of how convincing, even dangerously so, the group in power can be. These girls have so much power over Barbara that they convince her that they are right. They convince her to betray her beloved Sonny. This is important because it shows not only the power, but also the danger of blindly following a group. That means in life, we have to be really careful to not just give our power away, but to question the group in power to make sure we aren't betraying ourselves or our friends by blindly following them. Readers, I surprised even myself with how many new thoughts I just came up with. What do you think? Does this all make sense? Do you see how thinking about the story with the larger world in mind got me some new, interesting thinking? It's your turn, readers. Go back to the lesson platform for the next activity.